Hello and good morning. This morning I've been reminded, and I'm still sitting in this space where God just got me thinking of how quickly we give up things. Us as humans, how quickly we throw in the towel when we continuously, I don't know, feel like we're running into a brick wall or we don't see the progress that we'd like to see. So we actually become oblivious to any form of progress. It looks like to us that nothing is happening. For argument's sake, I'm quickly thinking now of when Abram took Isaac up the mountain. There was progress because they walked up the mountain, but in the progress towards it, this was when Abraham was the reason him and Abraham went up the mountain is they were at the place where Abraham had to offer Isaac to God. And even though they were walking up the mountain, Abraham didn't see change. He just believed God would provide. He didn't believe that God would want him to kill his own son, but he was willing to do it because God said so. But even though he was walking and nothing was happening on the other side of the mountain, there was a long time a ram running up the mountain over there. So it's funny how some people don't even like give it half an attempt sometimes. Some run and just before you get there you give up. Some don't get halfway. People never even start. And this got me reminded this morning of, oh man, I've always been a fan of Noah, but I became such a fan recently because I never thought about it in a certain way about what he did and how big his faith was. You get to learn that Noah had an unwavering faith before the Lord and in the Lord. And that is such a powerful word. I mean, it's crazy. And Genesis 6, verse 8 says, "But Noah found grace in the eyes of God." He found grace. We found favor because he had an unwavering faith before the Lord. And, I had to go search for it a little bit, but, there's a lot of interpretations with regards to the watering of the earth up until the flood rains, where, the Bible says the water came up out of the earth. It says that mist came out and watered the earth. And as far as I could quickly see this morning in the limited time of searching, is that it doesn't talk anywhere about actual rain that we know today, rain falling from the heavens, rain. And even in the flood um, of Noah's time, the Bible says that um, what is those things now? I can't think of the word, but opened up from under the earth and the waters rose along with the rain that fell from the sky. But before that time, it had never rained on earth, as far as I could see. As I said, there are many people that do all these studies and things, but that's irrelevant right now because, in verse 22, it ended up saying, "Thus Noah did according to all that God commanded him." So he did. He didn't think about it, didn't ask about it, he did it. And this is years. We're talking years, where some of us give up in a day. Noah built years on an ark. Years and years and years he built an ark for something that he's never seen before. You know, now if we go cross over to Hebrews 11 with this is phenomenal. Where in Hebrews 11 it says, "By faith Noah, being divinely warned of the things not yet seen, moved with godly fear, prepared an ark for the saving of his household, by which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is according to faith." So even if it was godly fear, he did. Any man would do anything to save his family. But the fact that he still built this thing, he could have gone, "Please, man, what are you talking about? What? What? No, I'm not gonna. Why? Why am I built an ark over here? You're giving me these massive." But Noah didn't have those things. He didn't think he did. He did all that God commanded him. And actually, in Genesis chapter 2 is where I saw where it says in verse 6, it says, "But a mist went up from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground." So no rains. Doesn't speak about rains or anything of that sort. But you got to trust in the Lord with all your heart and not lean on your own understanding. That is what Noah lived. That's what Noah is. That's how the Bible, I feel, describes who and what Noah is and was, and how he was when it came to God and following God's instructions. So we got to work towards it. You're not going to complete things in one day. People that have PhDs, depending on which field it's in, they study for many, many years, and even then, not everybody is guaranteed to receive it. I mean, you've got to put in this task of yours at the end of the time, and it needs to get accepted for you to get your actual doctorate. So, and if it's not accepted, then it won't be wasted time because you learn stuff along the way. But they study for years. If you set up a stage for any form of event, musical event, whatever event, that takes days if there's many people. But if it's one person doing this, it's going to take a heck of a lot longer. And yeah, between where I'm living in PE and J Bay, there's been roadworks on those roads for what feels like months now already, and that's also teams of people with equipment and all this stuff. So you got to work. The point is that it doesn't happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight when God works on you and changes you. The only thing I feel that can probably change overnight is your mind. Is when your mind kicks in and you make the decision, you make up your mind to do it, and then you do it no matter what. So a good example is, why am I doing what I'm doing? Sitting here every morning, sharing a message that I know God is sharing for me anyway, but He told me to share it with you. And that's all. That's why I'm doing it, because He told me to share it with you. I don't know why, but I do know why. Because someone is hopefully being affected. Somebody's life is hopefully being touched by God, by me being obedient. I'm literally just trying to be obedient with what God says. God told me to do it, and I decided to be as obedient as far as I can. The big picture for me for this is doing a year at minimum. That's what I feel God told me to do. I started in September. I'll finish in September to come. That's where it is. It's a year. So I can't give up halfway. I can't throw in the towel. We're 3 months in already. I got 9 months to go. And here we are. And the amount of stuff that I've learned in the short 3 months that I've been doing this, that we've been sitting here sharing mornings and stuff, has been incredible on other levels. And I can't wait to see what God's going to do in the 9 months to come. But I don't see everything all the time. God reveals to me little things at a time. Sometimes I don't even realize things till later. Sometimes other people even point out things to me. And I'm sitting there going, dude. So, that's why am I sharing this? Because God reveals it to us. If you've been set on a path, run, go, just do it. Don't allow your small thinking mind to keep you in a place to stop God from working in your life. God didn't ask you to think about it. He asked you to do. Actually, He didn't command you to think about it. He commanded us to do. It's our choice ultimately if we exercise obedience. And I want to run, man. I want God to choose me. I don't want to fall off the bus because I've seen what He's done in my life in such a short time. I'm so excited to see what He can do in the times to come. Didn't ask you to think, asked you to do. It's our choice ultimately if we want to do. But the hows, the whats, the whys, in the end of the day, that's God's problem. We pitch up this much. It's what I say to people a lot these days, and I'm living it. You pitch up this much. You be obedient this much. You try and keep up this much, and God comes with an overwhelming force. And He just, man, I don't even have words to describe it. And not everybody can always see it. And I feel you can't even explain it. You have to live it. You got to do and then see it. And that's how you'll know. And I want you to do it because you found favor in God's eyes. There's a calling upon your life, my friend. Don't think about it. Do it. Be obedient. Exercise obedience. Don't even worry about doing it or thinking about it. All you need to think about is be obedient to what God asked you to do. That's all that it is. Have an unwavering faith like Noah did.